there's a dish I think you should know by heart, and it's a roasted tomatillo sauce. We can make it go very homey or quite elegant, depending on the meat cut that you choose. It could be made with pork or with chicken, or you could do a whole piece of pork loin, and that's what we're gonna do today, because I think that's the most elegant of the presentations. Still has a homey taste, but a beautiful, beautiful presentation. I've got my pot over here heating on a kind of medium high, and I'm gonna film the bottom of it with a little bit of oil. Sprinkle my pork loin with some salt, and then lay it into the hot pan. Salted side down. There we go. For the sauce, you'll need some tomatillos that have had the husk taken off, some unpeeled garlic, a couple of serrano chilies, you could use jalapenos here, and a couple of slices of onion. Place all of that under a preheated broiler on the highest rack. When the pork has browned nicely on one side, flip it over. Finally, I'm going to roast a poblano directly on a gas burner. Once that poblano is blackened and blistered all over, I put it into a bowl and put a kitchen towel over the top to trap some steam as it cools down. That makes it easier to rub the blackened skin off the outside. Then I tear it open and pull out the seed pod. Briefly rinse it to get any stray seeds or little pieces of blackened skin off, and then chop it into small pieces. All the basic preparation has been done now. We roasted under the broiler the tomatillos, onion, garlic, and green chilies. They took about 4 minutes per side. They got a little char on them. I think that gives a really great flavor to it. The pork loin has been browned on all sides. Of course, I salted it when it went into the pot. The poblano is roasted, peeled, cleaned, and chopped up. I've got a little epazote here waiting to go into the pot. You could use cilantro for that classic Mexican herb. And then I've got some new potatoes that I cut into quarters. Now, to get the cooking of those started, I'm going to put them into the microwave to steam for a few minutes. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap. I'm going to cut a couple of little vent holes in there. These are going to need a tiny bit of water just to help with the steaming. Put it into the microwave at 100% power for 4 minutes. This is just to get them started cooking so that when we put it in with the pork, everything will come out done at the same time. Place all of the roasted ingredients into the blender. The tomatillos, along with the onions, the chilies, and the roasted and peeled garlic. And blend everything to a smooth puree. It looks like that the fat in the pot is hot enough. Drop a little bit of it. It should sizzle nicely like that. Then we're going to add all of it at once. Stir that for 4 or 5 minutes until it's really thickened noticeably and darkened in color. Now the last few ingredients that go in. The roasted poblano chili. I have the epazote here. If you're going to use cilantro, you might want to add it toward the end of the cooking because its flavor changes so much once it's cooked. I need a cup of chicken broth. You could use any kind of broth for this. Or if you're going to use it for a vegetable dish, you might want to use vegetable broth. And about a teaspoon of salt. And what you've got here in the pot is that classic roasted tomatillo sauce. You can use it for so many preparations. This is the sauce I think you should know by heart. Now we're going to nestle this piece of pork loin into it for this version that I'm making today. The half steamed potatoes are ready now for us to put into the pot. Uncover those. They'll be kind of steamy. See how hot that is? I think I can hold it with my hand. Potatoes, but not their water, go around the pork. I've got the oven at 325 degrees now. That's beautiful. Top on. Slide the pot into the oven. It'll take about 30 minutes for that pork loin to reach 145 degrees, which is, for me, absolutely perfect for a pork loin. I always recommend you have one of these instant read thermometers around so that you can insert it into the thickest part of that pork loin and know that you're exactly at the right temperature. Once it comes out of the oven, let the pork rest covered with a piece of foil for about 10 minutes to reabsorb the juices. I'm going to spoon the potatoes and the sauce onto a deep serving platter. Uncover the pork and slice it. Then lay those slices right on top of your potatoes and sauce. Got a few epazote leaves to kind of lay around on here to emphasize the uniqueness of that herb. Maybe a couple of pieces of flat leaf parsley too, just because I've got them here. And there you have it. Such a beautiful dish.